on that note, as we had promised earlier on, that we shall be linking up with O'Brien Kimani in Mombasa County to discuss matters on Kenya is joining the rest of the world in marking the World Tourism Day, which is themed tourism and rural development, which is marked every 27th of September. Now let's link up with O'Brien Kimani. O'Brien, can you hear me, O'Brien?
Let's maintain some order, please. Social distancing, tafadhali.
Well, thank you so much, Jacqueline, back there in Broadcasting House in Nairobi. You know, for the last 40 years, the world has celebrated the World Tourism Day, and today this is definitely a very different environment altogether, you know, coming against the backdrop of a highly devastating pandemic that has somehow crippled the world tourism business. If I can give you some statistics to try and digest, between January and March of this year, the tourism numbers went down, you know, globally, went down by 22%, and this was a translation of about 66 million people because of lockdowns and cessation of movement, you know, around the world. And according to United Nations, this figure is likely to go up, you know, by the end of the year to between 60 and 80%, depending on how the world is going to deal with this crisis. Already here in Kenya, we know the impact this has had on the tourism industry. Thousands of jobs, you know, have been lost, especially in the hospitality industry. And if I can try to give you some background, is that, you know, according to the Kenya Tourism Hotel Keepers Association, more than 100,000 people have so far lost their jobs in the tourism industry. A number of hotels have closed their shops, and according to them, they do not plan to reopen even when the pandemic is long gone. They are hoping that once the economy starts to reopen, and we have seen these, you know, all the efforts, you know, being put by the government to try and stabilize the situation, there is a glimmer of hope that, you know, the situation is likely, you know, to return back to normality. And the question is, and that is what everybody is battling with, is will the tourism industry in the world, here in the country, ever go back to pre-COVID levels? That is a question that everyone is battling with. Of course, we have seen, you know, heightened protocols, you know, because of social distancing, as well as, you know, the covering of nose and mouth with masks. This is likely to help, you know, in the short term. But the question that the sector is battling with is for how long they can continue with the social distancing measures, you know, bearing in mind that almost all these hotels, you know, that we have here, all these establishments, you know, were constructed or were put up without social distancing in mind. And for example, you know, just the other day I was having a discussion with one of the leading hotels in Nairobi, and they were saying that because of trying to put social distancing measures in place, they had to reduce their occupancy rates by 40%. And that is 40% business gone. And the question that they are battling with is, for how long can they continue with this? And it is the hope and desire of everyone that this pandemic is done and dusted with, so that the industry can go back to where it is. We're also sitting at a time when because of heightened security arrangements around the world, you know, remember, you know, before the pandemic came, you know, there was also concern about, you know, security, especially here at the coast. You know, if you can remember, if I can draw your attention to late last year when, you know, there was a terror attack, you know, along the Kenyan coastline, to be precise, you know, around Lamu. And there were a number of fatalities there, and that has somehow crippled the tourism industry, you know, at the coast, you know, and more especially, you know, around Lamu. I was in Lamu yesterday, and I can tell you for sure, you know, that I was having a discussion with some of the hoteliers there, and they were telling me that in December, and this is when they were expecting a lot of business, you know, after that attack, you know, business went down by almost 70%. You know, to mark this event, you know, here at the coast, you know, there has been a lot of activities with the cyclists, you know, coming all the way from Nairobi to this place. They are going to tour some of, you know, the memorable to some.
Brian Kiomani for bringing us to speed as Kenya marks World Tourism Day. We shall bring you that report in our subsequent bulletins. For now, we come to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you for keeping us company here on Channel 1 Lunchtime News. My name is Jackie Wembiro. Our sign language interpreter was Byron Abuli. Enjoy the rest of the day.